Like most Italian fairy tales, this story is bizarre, full of overdramatic people and awful men who make terrible decisions. That's most fairy tales, not just Italian ones, but just wait. It's called The Stolen Crown. A king goes out hunting with his prime minister and decides he's gonna take a little nap under a tree, and when he wakes up, his crown is gone, and he is losing it. The prime minister, who took my crown? And he's like, I don't know. The king went home in a terrible rage and had his prime minister sentenced to death. Even though he didn't do anything, he's just that mad. The story then tells us the real culprit is the fairy Alcina, who just loves messing with people and stealing stuff, as you'll see. The king is so embarrassed he has lost his crown and doesn't want anyone to know that he won't leave his bedroom. Like super emasculated by his crown loss. Like, I don't know, maybe it's symbolic for something. Anyway, he has 3 sons who love him a lot, and they each try to go into his room to find out what's wrong so they can help him. First one goes in and the dad screams and throws stuff at him, and so he leaves. Same thing happens with the second one. The third one, Benjamin, is the dad's favorite, and when he goes in, the dad's like, I want to tell you, Ben, but it's so humiliating. So Benjamin says, if you don't tell me, I'll kill myself rather than see you suffer, and pulls out a gun and points it right here. So that makes the king tell his son what happened. And so the son swears, I'm gonna go get your crown or I'll die trying. He gets on his horse and sets out, and he comes to this place where the road separates into 3 different paths, and one says, whoever takes this road will return. The second one says, who knows what your fate will be if you take this one? And the third one says, you will never return if you take this one. Benjamin starts to go down the first, and then goes down the second, and then he's like, no, I'm gonna take the third. He gets in a forest so thick that he has to leave his horse behind, and it's so sweet. He said he kissed his horse goodbye and said in a tearful voice, we might never meet again. He continues on foot and comes to this old woman's house, and he's like, I'm a poor horseless knight, please let me in, and she lets him in. But she tells him, hey, it's dangerous for you here, like I'll feed you and stuff, but my daughter is Bora, the northeast wind. And apparently she eats humans and she's gonna come gobble you up, and he's like, I'll risk it. So she feeds him, hides him. Her daughter comes home, like blowing everywhere, all ravenous. She feeds her daughter, and then once her daughter is full, she's like, hey, I have this man hidden here. Please don't eat him now that you're full. He needs our help. And the daughter's like, yeah, since I'm not hungry, I won't eat him. Turns out she knows where the crown is. In the course of her journeys, going all over as the wind, she has seen that it is on the fairy Alcina's bed. She also mentions Alcina has stolen a shawl of stars and a musical golden apple from 2 queens who she has then imprisoned in a well. Benjamin's like, well, how am I gonna get in this castle? And Bora's like, here's some sleeping potion. Give it to the watchman, then you can get in and see the gardener. He's like, why do I need to see the gardener? She's like, cause he's my dad and he'll help you in. Because of course he's her dad. So Benjamin goes to the castle, drugs the guard, and the gardener dad dresses him up as another gardener, and he gets to go inside carrying flowers for the fairy. And then he comes and finds her, and she is asleep in her bed. Even though the crown, the musical golden apple, and the shawl of stars are all there, he is entranced by the beauty of the fairy and had the urge to kiss her as she slept. You know, like a creep. He's gonna do it, but then the golden apple starts playing music, and he's afraid she's gonna wake up, so he grabs the stuff and he leaves. The author tells us it was a narrow escape since whoever kissed the fairy Alcina turned to stone from head to foot, which is honestly badass. Like, think how much better the world would be if any time a man tried to touch you against your will, he just turned into stone. There'd just be a lot of stone guys around and we'd be living our best lives. The way he sneaks out is he gets a vase of jasmines and like puts it in front of his face and like sneaks down the hallway. I'm not joking. After leaving the castle, he goes to find the well where the queens are imprisoned. He finally finds this well that is dry and it's so deep you can't see the bottom, and circling around it is a goose with wings wide enough to shelter several people at a time. Like a big goose. Benjamin's just like, hey goose, can you help me? And it's like, yeah, and it puts him on her back and swoops him down into the well. There he finds the 2 beautiful queens and he's like, here's your apple, here's your shawl, get on my goose and let's get out of here. And they do. The goose takes them to Benjamin's horse, so he gets to see his horse again. I don't know how happy the horse is though, because then the goose leaves and he gets on the horse with the 2 other women as well and rides back to his dad's kingdom. Actually, that take this road and never return home sign was lying. When the son presents the crown to his father, the father says, no, you kneel, and puts it on his head and says, you actually deserve this. You take over the kingdom now. I mean, he might have been a creep with the fairy, but like he definitely seems more capable of running the kingdom than his dad. So then Benjamin married the lovelier of the 2 queens. He's just like, I think you're the prettiest, so I'll take you. I don't even know if she's the one with the starry shawl or the singing golden apple. But they get married, have a huge celebration. I'm assuming the other queen goes on her way, hopefully to live a great life in her own kingdom. We don't find out what happened to the fairy either. She probably woke up, saw the stolen stuff was gone, and thought, well, no one's stoning here, so at least I'm okay.